Hello, I'm Paul Bernardini from St. Petersburg, Florida. To my right is Samuel, who is a feral Quaker parrot. And today I thought we would do an unboxing video. When I see unboxing videos on products I'm researching, I generally think it's a little overkill and borderline pathological consumerism. But nonetheless, I do like watching them for some reason. So I thought I would do my own today. And I recently sold my turntable, which was a Project RPM, and it was very stylish looking, but it was kind of a pain to use it, and I gave a good deal to the buyer. And so I always wanted a Rega, because I heard about Rega when I was in law school in the 90s as a poor student, and I couldn't afford any of their gear. And I understand Rega is supposed to, be value conscious gear, but I remember the hi-fi shops back then and the turntables and the speakers, and I actually had a Rega small 30 watt a channel integrated amplifier. It sounded wonderful and really simple, just like two knobs, volume and selector. It's just a beautiful piece. And anyway, I want to get an upgraded turntable. So what do you get? A P1, a P2, a P3, and I figured I would go for the P3. But the way these prices and models are, it's like everyone's better than the next one, and I don't really want to go down the rabbit hole, so to speak. I just want something that sounds good, easy to use, and lasts a long time. So these Regas have, I think they have some kind of a lifetime warranty. They're still made in England. They do everything in-house. And I settled on a P3. There's a few good used ones around, but they have been releasing these special edition ones. So this one's called the Planar 3 RS, and it comes with a souped up plinth, a cool smoke cover, and a power supply unit. I mean, it's a lot of upgrades. And some of the videos that mention this turntable, which has only been out for a few months as of spring of 2025, they say, well, it's getting into the P6 category, and I have to draw the line somewhere. So the gentleman who I bought this from, who's a dealer, he suggested that these P3s are kind of like the Honda Civics of turntables, and if that's so, that's perfect for me. I don't want to go any further. I don't care about the audiophile hyperbole of musical intent. I've been a musician all of my adult life, and most audiophiles, or most musicians, would have no clue what audiophiles are talking about. I would argue that they're listening to equipment, not music, but that's another discussion. Anyway, without further ado, let's open it up and see what's in the box. This is like the most fun part of ordering stuff and having it delivered. It's got these pretty neat staples, and I'm sure some people will cringe at me putting the box upright like that. But let's see what's in the box. Ooh. Beautiful. So here's our packaging. Here's a box of goodies. I'm sure there's a right way to open this stuff, and I'm sure I'm probably not doing it right. Like part of me just wants to turn it upside down and shake it out, but I know better than to do that. Okay. So let's get rid of this big shipping carton, and let's get rid of our styrofoam. Beautiful. I really hope that the microphone captures the sound of the cellophane, because I notice when I'm watching these unboxing videos, I really like the sound of the cellophane crinkling. Why, I don't know, but I think it's just part of the deal. So here's our cool smoke cover. My Project RPM didn't even have a cover, so The whole thing was just covered in dust. Let's leave this on for now, we'll put that on later. Here's the manual. I'm a guy, I'm above reading manuals. But I've watched the unboxing videos, so I think I have an idea of what I need to do. So this must be the platter, pretty glass platter. If you have a bird, birds are very curious about everything you do. And if you have a box of any kind, they're gonna wanna know what's in it, even if they know it's not food. That's the difference between birds and dogs or cats. Birds are just genuinely curious about everything you do, even if it's not related to food or toys. Ooh, pretty. Here's our platter. And I'm gonna keep this on the cardboard. It's very heavy. It's got the felt mat on it. I hope you can hear that cellophane. Let's see what we have here. Huh. Something in here. Very tiny hole. Oh, this is our counterweight. So this will go on the tone arm. Of course, it's weighty. I'm gonna save all this stuff in case the cable ever has to go back for audio components. I always save the original packaging. Whether you need to sell it to somebody else or ship it back or get it serviced, it's always a good idea to keep the boxes. So this is our power supply unit. Unlike the base P3, which has all the control panel, the power button on the deck itself, this one is powered completely through the power supply unit, which is kind of cool because with these manual belt drive turntables, if you want to play a 45 versus a 33, it's a royal hassle to have to change the belt. But with the power supply unit, you can do it completely at the press of a button. Now a cheap turntable, you can do that anyway, but there's something about these manual turntables that people seem to not mind having to manually change the belt. This cable is the proprietary cable between the deck and the power supply unit. It's got some pep to it, the cable, meaning it's good quality. So let me open that up. Yeah, it's got like 4 pins in it. And I will go ahead and, I don't think I'm gonna need this whole length, but, so I'll keep these twist ties handy so when I do hook it up, I don't have so much excess cabling hanging out. So I'm guessing this is probably gonna be our wall board power supply. What's cool about Regas is the cartridge is already installed in a line, and the cartridges are made to work or designed around their own tone arms, which makes sense because it's the same company. But that's nice. With the project, I put a Blue Point 2 over the stock cartridge, and that took that deck up another level. So let's put this behind me. All right. So here we got our power supply to our power supply, our wall wart, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this out so you can see what it looks like. It's got a nice metal chassis, real simple. Obviously we know our cable goes into here, our wall wart goes into here. It's got a cellophane layer that I'll take off later. 33, 45, and this powers. So we'll be controlling everything. There's no buttons on the plinth itself. So that's different than the regular P3s. So this plinth is made out of a different substance, and Rega takes they believe that the less mass and more stiff the plinth is, the better the sound, versus having like a very heavy, bulky, dense plinth. So it's interesting, like the more expensive you go with Rega, the lighter the plinths get. So this is not a feather, but it's not super heavy either. I'm trying to see how oh, here we go. Great. I'll have to cut the bag up. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but this finish is kind of like a graphite. I heard another reviewer call it a graphite. It's almost like a titanium brushed metallic looking finish. It's very beautiful. I mean, just the way it catches the light. And it's, I think, this is all aesthetics, but the anniversary P3 had like a fake walnut sticker over it. And that wasn't even real wood. So I thought that looked kind of cheesy. And at least it didn't align with my aesthetics. All right, so this piece of cardboard here is keeping the bearing protected during transport. So we're supposed to save this. There's our belt. So we're going to take this, and this wheel should drop down into the bearing. This is like milled from solid aluminum. This is ABS plastic of some sort. This is a brace that gives it a structural integrity. It's just a beautiful piece of equipment that if I ever grow tired of it, the nice thing about getting a nice brand, nice model is it's always going to be worth something. So if you look at used audio gear in your classifieds, Facebook Marketplace, whatever, you know, a lot of people are just trying to sell crap that they shouldn't have bought in the first place. But if you spend a little more, even if you buy used stuff, it's still going to have value. And I think this thing's going to be looking great in 10, 15 years. Just got a nice, simple look. I'll take this tape off, which is to protect the needle, the tone arm moving. Let's probably save that somewhere, somehow. So yeah, so here's our cable for the power control unit. So just gotta respect the alignment of the pins. That goes into here. So this plugs in somewhere here, which I guess I'm gonna have to lift the deck up a little bit. Make sure the tone arm's secure, which it is. And I see it. I'm looking at the business end underneath, and I can see where I can plug this in. It's pretty nice. That they designed this so you don't really see the inner workings. It's all stealthily hidden underneath. All right, so this tone arm is supposed to be really well regarded. It looks beautiful. The cartridge is supposed to be one of their better ones. They designed their own cartridges and build them in-house. It has a nude elliptical diamond. Nude elliptical diamond. It almost sounds like a stripper's name, but that's what they call it. So what we're supposed to do now is align the counterweight. So I will remove this tape. And there should be a cover over the stylus, otherwise known as the needle. And there it is. So that's what protects the needle with a nude elliptical diamond. Pretty engineering. And again, save all these like little bits. From watching the other videos, you just kind of screw this on, and we want the tone arm to basically float and be level. And it seems like that's a pretty snug fit, so I might not be doing something right. Definitely a snug fit. It's not threaded or anything, you just put it on. So what I'll do is I'll release the tone arm and see what that does. I think I need to pull it back some more. Okay, so when I push it forward, I see people doing this pretty easily online, but it's not something I do often, so you have to forgive me. What do you think? Is that level? I think it's supposed to float. It's supposed to be a little higher, maybe. All right. Well, I'll finish doing that later. But you have to balance this tone arm and then set your anti-skate at 1.75, and then lock in the tracking force also at 1.75. So I'll go ahead and put I'll finish this later, and let's see what it looks like with the platter on. Again, this is where all the heft is, I think, in this turntable. This is like very thick glass. Very heavy. And there's your wool pad. It's not felt, it's actually wool. It's just supposed to have anti-static properties. And there you have it. So let's see what, I won't bother you with the dust cover because you can't really see anything anyway. And I still have to finish aligning it. But there it is. This is a Honda Civic SI of turntables. This is as far as I'm gonna go. Whatever the P6 has, I can live without. I used to stop by the flea market on the way to the beach, and I would pick up old LPs for like a couple bucks, sometimes only $1. So I just randomly selected some LPs, and I'm wondering like which ones should I listen to first. Here's a Zymox record that I really like. This is kind of like, they've been compared to Depeche Mode, but they're probably a little darker. They have a different synth sound, but a very cool band, Zymox. Thompson Twins, here's something I paid $1 for at the flea market. This has excellent recording quality, all analog. And the bass player just kills it on this album. There's some good B-side stuff that I really like. So it's good for, this would be a good one for taking the turntable for a spin. This is quintessential British, Charlatans UK. It's got a British recording, mastering sound to it. Not a lot of bass, but a pretty rockin' sound. So I want to hear that. Orchestra Maneuvers in the Dark. This one's got some neat stuff on it too. Interesting band from the 80s. 80s jazz, George Benson. I was just going to listen to this Masquerade because I like that song and I know how it's supposed to sound. 1960s Bossa Nova, Antonio Carlos Jobim. I was going to like play Insensitive. I really like that song. Not only as an audience member, but I like playing it. Some David Bowie, Pat Metheny. So a lot of 80s stuff. And a modern band, Molchat Doma, which has early 80s post-punk sound, although they're from Belarus and they're a modern band and they're currently touring. I saw them play, they're pretty good. So I want to be listening to music, not equipment, and that's what I have for you. Thanks for watching.